Okay, we've had a very good off week. I think we accomplished what we set out to as far as getting fresh, as far as getting better at the fundamentals and the details. We also got a head start on Texas A&M, which is always good with the different things that they present to you. Quick injury update: Cam Petway suffered a fracture in his scapula late in the game against Arkansas. We did not know that until last Friday. We were trying to heal our guys up, and it was sore, and we thought it would get better. It didn't get any better, and so he'll be out for an extended period of time. I don't know exactly when that will be, but obviously that's a tough blow for him, a guy that's battled a lot of injuries up to this point. As far as that goes, everyone else we expect to be ready for Texas A&M, which I think that is a really big thing with the guys that are banged up offensive line wise, and then we have some defensive guys that we've held out the last couple of weeks. We expect everybody to be ready as far as that goes. Texas A&M, you're talking about a very talented team. When you look at these guys defensively, they've got a lot of very good athletes. They're a big physical group that can run. They're one of the best teams in the country in sacking the quarterback and putting pressure on the quarterback, not just 4 down, but when they pop a guy or bring an extra guy, a fifth guy, they're very good, very aggressive. They really try to stop the run. They'll bring extra guys down to do that. Offensively, you're talking about a very balanced team. Last week they played 2 quarterbacks, so you've got to prepare for both those guys, but they're very balanced, and they got one of the more dynamic playmakers in all of college football, in Christian Kirk, a guy that, with the ball in his hands is very scary. And you talk about special teams, I think he's probably the biggest weapon in the country in special teams. So we're going to have to do a super job with him covering kicks and everything that goes with that. But like I said, I feel very good about where we're at after the off week. Gave us a chance, for our team to heal up as far as everything goes and get better. And we're looking forward to going to Texas A&M. Questions?
Does Petway avoid surgery then, or is that non-surgery?
No, it's non-surgery. No, non-surgery.
Is Cam Martin the next backup in the?
Yeah, I think Cam Martin, Malik Miller, Devin Barrett, I think all those guys, have gotten work not only in games, but more importantly, got a lot of work in practice. I think, all those guys will be ready to go when called upon, down the stretch.
Gus, is there any indication of the timeline of recovery for a fractured shoulder blade?
I said extended period of time. I'm hoping we get him back before the end of the year, but I'll keep you updated on a weekly basis. Really, that's kind of one of those things we'll have to see how it goes.
How is he coping with this, Gus? I mean, this was a season that was supposed to be far more productive, far more successful. Just how is Cam dealing with this?
Well, I mean, he's a competitor, and like I said, it's a tough blow to him. I mean, you're exactly right. He's had a lot of different injuries, and I know that's frustrating for him. He's a great competitor. But hey, you got to deal with it, and he'll respond. He'll respond okay.
Gus, how was Casey Dunn doing particularly, and how much did you have him back at center?
Yeah.
Be able to put Austin at left tackle, get some good passes?
Yeah, Casey, he had a good practice on Sunday. He did some things last week. I think he's ready to go, and of course, obviously today will be another big day of practice, but so far so good. He's looked extremely well.
Yes. And do you like having Austin Golston, being able to put him back at left tackle?
Yeah, I mean, Austin, like I said, I think, what does he start at? 4 different positions. So, anytime you can get veteran guys on the field. Now, we'll see what that means as far as, the exact starting lineup for the game. But, having the older guys on the field, has been a really good thing.
Yes, what about Mike Horton, Darius James? How
yeah, Mike Horton practiced last week and Sunday night. Darius James practiced Sunday. And like I said, we expect everybody at this point to be ready to go to Texas A&M and play. And so I think that's a real positive.
When did you guys find out about Petway as far as?
Yeah, I think it was like Tuesday at practice. His shoulder was tender. Now at the same time, we held a lot of guys out. It wasn't just him and all that. And so the guys that were beat up, and it's just one of those deals that it didn't get any better on Friday. And so we just felt, hey, we better, get an X-ray type deal. So that's kind of how everything went about.
Just a technical thing with him, Gus, does he have loss of value insurance?
What's that?
Does Petway have loss of value insurance?
They update that from time to time.
Gus, talk about your defensive guys that you think they're all going to be healthy and ready to go this week.
Yeah, we do. I think everyone practiced Sunday. We expect everybody to practice today. You can just really sense, especially on Sunday, that the freshness. Last week was really good. Our guys were very energetic. They were ready to get back out there and practice, and we had a very good practice, in all three areas. A little bit longer than most Sunday night practices, but we've done that traditionally, coming off a bye week to get a little extra head start. And, we were in shells, and then so today, will be a good practice too.
How about Trey Matthews? What does it mean to have him back out?
Well, he's one of our leaders, and when he's on the field, he makes a big difference. And so I know he's excited to get back out there. And, when you get your leaders on the field, it has a way of affecting everybody in a positive way.
Gus, I think Ryan Davis has one of the lowest drop rates in the country as far as receivers. Is that something you're just kind of born with, or is that something he just kind of gotten better at as time goes on?
Tell you, Ryan has really worked extremely hard. He's one of those guys that really wants the ball. He attacks the ball. He's playing with a lot of confidence right now, and you could see that grow throughout this year. Now, he's one of the more veteran guys we have, in our receiving core, and a guy that's played a lot of ball and just playing with a lot of confidence right now. And I know our quarterback has a lot of confidence in him too.
Do you have to guard against, when you played LSU, they were coming off, they had some tough losses and bad games, and Texas A&M has obviously played better than they did against Mississippi State. Do you have to guard against anybody getting overconfident?
I think this time of year, the games are so important. You've got to expect each week you're going to get that team's best effort, and that's what we expect out of A&M. Like I said at the very first, you're talking about a very talented team overall. You turn the film on, you can see that within the first 5 minutes. They've recruited well, and they've got very good players. So you got to play well. But this is the time of year that, if you got a chance to be a good football team and do special things, you play well as a team. The thing that I like right now is that we're healthier. We had an off week to get a little fresher, and it was good for our staff, too, to kind of look at everything from a standpoint of worrying about us for a whole week instead of worrying about opponent. And there's a lot to be said for that. And there were some things that, we saw in all three phases that we feel like can make us better, the last 4 weeks. And so, like I said, I think we're in a good spot. We got to go out there and do it, and we're playing a very talented team on the road. So to answer your question, we're going to expect their best, and we know we have to play well to win.
Gus, have you looked especially at special teams, especially with Christian Kirk coming out and the problems you've had the last couple of
Yeah,
games?
no, there's no doubt. We're a lot of times, you look at different things either scheme-wise or personnel-wise. The things that you weren't good at before your off week, you got to improve. And that is one area that we're going to have to improve. And obviously, when you throw in the factor of a Christian Kirk, that even makes it even more relevant. But whether it's scheme, whether it's tendencies, whether it's personnel, which a lot of times it's a little of all three.
And I guess it's November late in the season. Do you think this is an opportunity for you to put some more veterans on special teams to help you out a little bit?
Well, like we said, personnel-wise, it gives us a chance that we have a lot of information on our current team and where we're at. And then, there's some young guys, too, that I felt like last week was really good for them because really we got them more work than we did the older guys. And so it was a great opportunity for a couple of those guys to step up. And, you look at freshmen, they're really no longer freshmen in my eyes. They've got a lot of experience, game experience. And so, yeah, there'll be a few personnel changes.
So you spent last week kind of looking at yourself and maybe the things that you guys have been
Yeah.
doing well.
Mhm.
I'm not asking for specifics, but were things you kind of surprised, like, oh, that's interesting, or
I think any time when you're not in that routine of having to prepare for a team and you're able to sit back and really look at your team and break everything down, there's always things that are glaring, like good and bad. And you build upon the things that you're good at. You don't do the things you're not good at. And then you look at your tendencies. And it gives you a good opportunity to see what other teams are seeing and try to use that against them, and or try to use that to your advantage.
Gus, since you've been here at Auburn, you're 6-0 after bye weeks. What do you think's been the key to that?
You know, I think a lot of it has to do with the approach. A lot of it has to do with our players responding and doing what we ask them to do, and being able to kind of talk about the things I just talked about. You know, to look at your team and either break tendencies or build around strengths, or you know, or look at personnel and things like that. So I really think it's kind of all the above, but the bottom line is the players, and the players respond and do what they're asked to do.
I know you have to take it one game at a time, of course, but how decisive is this month coming up for you and this football team?
It's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity. We're in a good spot with a great opportunity, and but Texas A&M is on our mind, and a very talented team, like I said, and that's the only thing on our mind.
Coach, what kind of a challenge does A&M's defensive front present?
They're I think they're second in the country in sacks. I mean, that's the first thing that stands out. But they do a good job against the run too. They're big, they're athletic. Their linebackers are big. Their linebackers can run. Their defensive coordinator, you know, he's one of the best in our league traditionally. He's been that way. They're going to be very sound. They're not going to beat themselves. So they present some challenges. You know, like I said, the good thing for us right now, I feel like, is we got a chance to be healthy up front. That would be a great thing if we could continue to do that down the stretch. You know, I've been real impressed with our offensive line, that we've had so many different starting lineups, which is a huge challenge to do from a big picture offensive standpoint, and they've still performed at a pretty high level. You know, you look at our last game, you know, we had new starters and new guys in new positions, and they were able to execute at a pretty high level. So, you know, I've been proud of our offensive line as far as a collective group.
When you guys enter the season with what you feel is one of the best running back tandems in the country, just how frustrating is it that you just haven't been able to get them both healthy at the same time?
Yeah, hey, you know, you got to adjust. I mean, the positive is Kerryon Johnson's one of the best running backs in our league, and you see the confidence he's playing at right now. And so, you know, and then we've got other guys that we feel good about too that are going to be big down the stretch right now. So, you know, I feel good about where we're at. I mean, it's unfortunate for Cam. You know, he really, even last week, wasn't completely healthy, but you saw that he came back, at least had some glimpses of what he was the year before. But hey, we've got a lot of other guys that are ready to go, and looking forward to finish this thing down the stretch.
Going back to Texas A&M's front seven, Gus, you've not fared as well against teams who are that productive in pass rush the last several years, and not just the front four, the whole front seven with this team in particular. Just when you're playing a team with this much talent and scheme advantage, you know, John Chavis, are there things you look at to try and mitigate their success when it's been an issue in years past?
Yeah, well, I'll just say this, James. I mean, each year is different. Each team's different. Matchups are different. You know, the fact that we know Coach Chavis and he knows us, I mean, all that is considered, you know, as far as everything goes. So, but it's a new team, and we'll see what happens Saturday.
Can you talk about what factor big plays have been this year for you? I know that was sort of
you know, we talked about, you know, I think really about two things. First of all, balance. You know, that was really, if I take you back all the way, you know, in the off-season, balance. And I think right now we're accomplishing that. We are balanced. Then we talked about explosive plays, and we've had quite a few explosive plays. And anytime you have explosive plays, then you play with pace. And so kind of all three of those things, when we're at our best, we're able to do. And that's going to be a big factor these next 4 games too. And, you know, and so we just got to continue to build upon that thing, continue to have explosive plays in the pass game and the run game, and then, you know, get into pace.
Does it take maybe 2 years, maybe even 3 years for a wide receiver at this level to realize
Yeah, well, I mean, we emphasize that the first, week of fall camp, being a complete receiver. A lot of times, it's more important what you do without the ball than it is with the ball. I know a lot of times, college receivers, you're supposed to catch the ball, but what'll separate you is playing without the ball. And so, we talk about that from really a first week they arrive, and it's a process. We do have some receivers that have a lot of experience now, and you can see those guys grow. And I really feel like that group's starting to come together. I think they're playing with more confidence. I know Jarrett's got confidence in the group, and they got confidence in him too. So, as far as passing game, I think you see that thing growing. The more experience those guys get.
Because you got a handful of players from the state of Texas on the roster, but none of them were signed straight out of the high school ranks as recruits. Since A&M's been in the league, you're one of only a couple of teams in the league not to sign a high school player from the state of Texas. Just can you get into recruiting strategy, especially in the Western Division, with them being an area to go and somebody you're going to play all the time? You have the Oregon game in 19 in Texas, just the strategy that goes into recruiting that state.
Yeah, of course, we really hang our hat on the state of Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. There's great players, in those three states. And, Texas, a lot of times, outlying kind of away states, if you've got a connection already, or if you've got a relationship already, you invest time as far as that goes. But the Texas players we do have, we're very proud of. This game will be very important to them, as you would think. But, that's our strategy.
Does it surprise you, though, that the last guys from the state that, you recruited Emory Blake, for example, like Emory and Nosa, the last guys from Texas to sign here from the state?
Yeah, Emory Blake kind of goes back to my point. I recruited him at Tulsa, got to know him very well, and his baseball coach was one of my good friends too, and so there was already a relationship when I came here, and so it kind of goes back to that point about it. If you've got a good previous relationship, as far as that goes. But I feel very good about the way we've recruited and the players we've recruited from the main three states that we kind of hang our hat on.
Getting back to Austin, in an ideal world, what would be his ideal position to play? And when you've asked him to switch up, how has he responded to that in terms of the initial?
Yeah, it says a lot about Austin that he's whatever is best for the team. And to ask an offensive lineman in our league to play 4 different positions is really unheard of. And he's played at a high level. But his attitude he's one of our leaders, and it says a lot about him, and it says a lot about his leadership, and it'll help him greatly moving forward at the next level. And but he's done a super job. And you ask me his best position, I think he's really a very good player at all the positions he's played. I mean, he's a real smart guy. He's a real competitive guy. He's an attention to detail guy. Can't say enough good things about Austin Golson.
Because when you look at what happened with Jim McElwain this week, and you said last year with Les at LSU, do you struggle with where the expectation bar is in this league and where it is for most programs?
No, I just worry about us and worry about us and what we're doing here and worry about our team. I mean, outside of this, it is what it is, but that's all I worry about.
Gus, I know you take it one game at a time, but with Georgia being number 2, Alabama being number 1, you have to talk to your players about, hey, you got to focus on the task at hand because there are some big games coming up.
Yeah, I'm always going to be honest with our team, but our team, they do understand the big picture, but more importantly, they understand the current picture, and all that matters is A&M, and they do understand that. And I think we've got a veteran enough team with leaders that will make sure there's no overlooking this bunch. That would be crazy to overlook Texas A&M, and we're not going to do that. And then we'll cross the bridge later on. But I'm always honest and upfront, and with our players, and I'll talk big picture from time to time. I think that's important. But then we reel it back into what the priority is.
You might not have an answer for this, but why do you think the road team in this series wins every single game?
I really don't have an answer for that. I know that, we've lost some tough ones here at home, against these guys. So, and we played good football when we went there.
How important is it to you know he's a guy
Yeah.
you trust, but you don't want to overload.
Yeah, I think strategically right now, it kind of goes back to last week. You look at strategically what needs to be done the last 4 games, to try to keep him healthier into the fourth quarter. Because obviously down the stretch, there's a decent chance games will go into the fourth quarter. So, that was part of that conversation too. And of course, I'm not going to sit here and tell you right now what our plan is, but that is something that we've talked about. We'll have a plan for.
All right, Coach. Thank you.